everybody, let's just get this over with. Matty D here, Wednesday. It's May 20th, 2026. So the Ebola is back and they're kicking it all over the place. And we're going to do this really quick, short and sweet, all right, as fast as we can, all right? So back in 2014, we exposed the hell out of this thing. Even Alex Jones was jumping on it. Even on InfoWars, they had green backgrounds. Everything was green. In Africa, they were even having these green parties. All right, they were all decked out in green, drinking green stuff. They were doing it for Ebola, right? It was such a lie. I mean, the news clips, everything was so busted. This was back in the day, if you guys remember Jeff C., Free Radio Revolution. This is when we really had a real, quote-unquote, actual truth community and people talking and spreading, and we were getting tons of views on YouTube, no ads, no nothing. But of course, with Trump, we had to shut all that down in 2017 anyway, because I had all these things captured as well. So what's funny is articles came out where they actually caught people in the local villages poisoning the well water with formaldehyde to create Ebola-like illnesses and symptoms. All right, so now if you look it up, Ebola formaldehyde comes up in autofill as Ebola formaldehyde case. And I love this because I was like, I didn't even know about this till it filled in. So I was like, let's see something. Refers to the highly publicized legal and public health directives instituted during the 2014 Ebola outbreak. Amazing. And I was like, wait, 2014 is when this shit happened. Because then I was like, wait, let me retype it. I'm going to show you. When managing the remains of Ebola victims in the U.S., the CDC strictly prohibited embalming or performing autopsies due to the risk of occupational exposure. You see how it's all full of shit? Now let's hit the forward button to where I revised my search, where I said Ebola formaldehyde well water. And then it goes, the connection, this is AI, the connection between Ebola formaldehyde and well water stems from a dangerous conspiracy theory and series of poisoning incidents that occurred during the 2014 Ebola epidemic in West Africa, primarily in Liberia. Yeah, and you can see, there it is, 2014, the major Liberian newspaper, and it says like this, churning out Ebola conspiracies, right? My God, this is all they do. But let's go into what is not conspiracies, all right? As I mentioned, the Green Party, green coloring, all right? Ebola green, AI, Ebola green, most commonly refers to colorized electron microscopy images of the Ebola virus, where scientists visually highlight the virus in green. Your first American case, the guy comes over from a Green Party from over in Africa. 3 names. They always use this as the patsy. Look it up for people who've done assassinations and more. It's always 3 names, right? Thomas Eric Duncan, all dressed in green, right? In green. He was out there in the Green Party. These were during the parties. And he was the first one that came back, right? Look, cause of death, Ebola, 2014, October 8th, right? When did we just see the article coming out from the Washington Post? October 14th, 2014, right? You can't make this shit up. And yet, right, he was the patient zero, comes here. And nothing happened because it's all full of shit. But all these pictures, you see him in his green. This one here, you see the tables, see the table covers in green, see his napkin in green. He's in Africa at a fucking Ebola Green Party. He was working for the fucking motherfuckers advertising this shit. Look at, does he look happy? I remember when this shit all happened, they even had phone calls. People reporting that when you made a phone call, when you answered your phone, a recording came on and told you Ebola was real before your call went through. That's how real it was. All right? Because again, they can wipe out all my previous videos, and again, from more than 10 years ago, but they can't wipe out my freaking memory, man. All right? Now, look at this. Ebola outbreak, and again, you got people in green shirts and shit all over the place, you know, and some of these same pictures and staffers. If you go to Gavi, it's probably going to autofill because I was just doing it. Gavi Ebola vaccine. A lot of them, look at the pictures. They're the same fucking people that are in the advertising over and over again, which is Gavi, the Global Vaccine Initiative Alliance from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. who Trump dedicated 4 years of millions of dollars towards vaccines in the beginning of fucking 2020, right before COVID was officially announced. All right, I mean, they're all in on the shit. You go into the Ebola outbreak again, he was saying, oh, even Trump's concerned because now we have an American and everything like this. Somebody's testing positive. But look at the pictures. They're staged. They're the same ones over and over again. Forbes, NPR. They're all using the same pictures, man. There's nothing here of anything. And again, they're spreading it all over the place, and it's full of shit. Now, let's get into the real kicker and end the video because we're already over 5 minutes. So, and you guys could do it just like I did. Moderna, $26.7 million mRNA Ebola vaccine just 4 months ago. Yes. A multivalent vaccine initiative led by the University of Oxford in partnership with Moderna. Develop a broadly protective all-in-one, quote-unquote, targeting multiple lethal filoviruses, include Zaire, Zidane, blah, 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 blah. The funding, backed by $26.7 million from CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovations, again, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. How it works. Current status. Candidates are currently in early clinical development and testing, and it was launched in January 2026, right? January 8th, there it all is. Here's all the articles. May 18th, the WHO declares Ebola outbreak in Congo. Like right? And it was announced literally the day before the WHO summit. All right? They literally did this shit. Again, close the AI part. 4 months ago. Can scientists design all new one vaccine to protect against all this shit? WHO declares Ebola outbreak. Let's see. WHO summit. Yeah, fucking Super Bowl. Let's see. When did this start? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, May 18th to May 23rd. How fucking coinky dinky. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm going to end the video there. Everything's captured for you guys. Again, short and sweet. The truth is very simple. And again, they can't wipe out this shit, but I'm telling you, nobody shows you these things and tells you this crap. Because they can't, man. They're shilling. They're for the shekels of the advertisements, the revenue, and selling crap. You know, anybody I see on YouTube that gets thousands of views, they have ads and stuff like that. How? You're going to tell me they're totally truthful? Please. They play political games. They're picking sides and they do all this shit versus radical this or radical that. You know, it's the same shit. All right, I am out. Just remember, Trump said the other day, too, over the weekend, and everybody was talking about Gina Carano and frickin' Ronda Rousey. But again, Trump says he does not give a shit about our finances. He doubled down, doesn't think about it, doesn't think about anybody. You know, Israel just unseated Thomas Massey in Kentucky. But again, I mean, what's one congressman going to do? But yet Trump can come out and make tweets calling him the most disgusting and freaking worst and freaking congressman in history because he goes against whatever Trump wants. And people literally coming out and saying this shit. Well, he doesn't agree with Trump. All right, so you don't agree, we're firing everybody and getting rid of you. They put in almost $33 million. Israel alone was backing this shit. Anyway, again, the video's over. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You know, if I don't make another video, all right, happy Memorial Day, just for the vacation. I don't celebrate military. I don't acknowledge them because they're all attack dogs. I mean, they're not protecting my freedoms, all right? Peace. I'm out.